Decathlon descends on Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix, a glittering show on the Riviera and a crown for whoever can emerge victorious here. Space may be tight and overtakes few and far between, but that won't stop the drivers battling until the end on this iconic street circuit. Monaco is famous for its many narrow twists and corners. From the brake-heavy Le Rascasse to the treacherous Sand of Ott, there are no proper straights to speak of, and it's extremely hard to overtake here. It sounds like simple advice, but getting up as high on that starting grid as possible is the best plan of attack.
Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 Manager 23. This is episode 31. We're at Monaco. We've done qualifying. Let's see where we landed at. It's the Red Bulls with a 1-2. No surprise there. They are always ahead. It was more of a surprise that Russell and Ferrari managed to actually win the next race, but they're the only team that's consistently in touching distance of them. Porsche puts in a pretty solid performance, though. A lot of close times. Perez also getting close near the top. It's still, damn near a second behind the Red Bulls, so look for them to have a pretty significant advantage. I mean, with the number of laps we're going to be running, they could lap most of the field. After that drop-off to the 109.5 range, you got Norris, Ocon, and Stroll. The drivers that I've been competing with of late, I thought we'd be a little bit better off here because of the low-speed cornering being so important. But maybe it's the acceleration that's lacking. Maybe it's Sargent's reaction time that's lacking. Either way, only a P13, and he was pretty consistent with a 109.8. But that means he's only a few tenths off the pace of all these guys. So I think he could easily keep up with them. Easily. He's only losing 3 tenths a lap, and DRS is going to aid in pulling him forward. Then it just becomes a matter of the overtake. The overtake being quite challenging. Pace does start to drop off a little bit behind us. We do seem to be in the right position. Faster than Haas, faster than AlphaTauri, faster than Alfa Romeo. And Florsch, this time, a full second slower than Nick DeVries. No surprise to me that she is well off pace in a very technical track, where I think driver impact matters a lot more here than other tracks. And that's where Sargent's hurting. Because even though he is no longer the next worst driver, Florsch, of course, is 20th out of 20. Way behind everybody else. Sargent was 19th out of 20 last season. He's now 17th. He has improved. And the driver lineup's changed a little bit. And he's got, the ability to start kind of moving up the grid a little bit. And others are moving down the grid a little bit. And he's not as far behind as others, but it still shows that here, anyway, he's just not quite as good of a driver and lost maybe a few tenths, and that few tenths bumped him out of that range and into this range. Can he get into the points? It's going to be tough. Tough from P13, but not impossible.
The streets of Monte Carlo are ready as the drivers prepare for the 78 laps of the Monaco Grand Prix. Here's a determined Sainz lining up on the grid.
They start in P1, but will they be able to stay there? The first corner could be so crucial.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. It's time for one of the most exciting races in the world. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
My mouse went haywire there for a second. I had a hard time getting in position. So Florsch is already in P20. So we're not going to push too hard for too long for her. We just want to keep her in touching distance. But Sargent starts from P13. What's it look like strategy around us? Piastri on the hards. Ugh, we don't want to get stuck behind Piastri. That's one overtake I'm going to be desperate to try to make here before we settle in. Piastri's pace is going to be rough for us to try to follow. Giovinazzi behind us, but Haas, a few guys in a car on the softs. That's 4 cars that are going to go softs to hard, or are they going to try to two-stop? because really the strategy is medium to hard or hard to medium, but I suppose that there is a soft to hard undercut. So I've got Flourish on the hards, trying to go long, try to stay out there, try to stay in touch as best she can, and pit later on before she, then falls into the blue flag trap. But meanwhile, hopefully she has enough pace to not get lapped quickly here as a result. To help with that, I've underfueled a lot. I've underfueled both cars by 3 laps. But here, unlike other tracks, for one, it's a shorter track, and you're not hitting top speed. There's just not as many acceleration zones. There's a lot more braking and cornering happening here than at other tracks, or not going flat out, certainly not on the edge. So as a result, only using 1.1 kilograms per lap. That's it. So underfueling by 3 laps is only 3.6 kilograms underfueled. It's really not bad. It's not bad at all. We're already on the backside of lap number 2, going underneath the casino. Intervals are opening, making situations where DRS is going to be available to some and not to others. So lap 6, and Sargent just that little bit off of Piastri's pace, but being that he's on the hards, I think at some point we're going to be able to close back up on him. The pace advantage should help us out. In fact, there you are. We're already inside 1 second now, so that's a big help. The Red Bulls are pulling away. The Ferraris are pulling away a little bit. Perez is trying to keep up with them. But then Porsche is kind of backing off the next group. It's 1s and 2s, or a lot of 1s. So as we close up here, are we close enough to try to have a look? No. Side by side, deploy. Push. Let's go. Overtake done, P12. Back to topping up. Back to balanced. Almost out of DRS range for Piastri. We'll push that a little bit longer, see if we can get him out of DRS range. And we do. We just got... No! Oh, come on. He shouldn't have had a flap open there. But, man, he cut that gap in half. Going light is definitely helping me be faster. Track position is going to be kind of the key to make things work, as overtakes are so difficult to happen. But hey, we've managed to do 1. And we're driving away from Albon, Giovinazzi, and others. Flourish is way off the pace, though, apparently. And I learned this the hard way last season. Putting her on the hards, it just makes her so slow that she ends up getting blue flagged early rather than later, and so by the time you put her on the faster mediums, she's just too damn slow. We really have to take the opposite approach with her. Drive on the mediums, try to keep up, try to keep her on the lead laps for as long as possible, and then put her on the inevitable hards later on, or put her on softs, make a 2-stopper the thing, because she's just too slow on the hards, way too slow on the hards. 1.3, and we've got out of DRS range on Piastri. His tires get worn to a certain point, which he's not at yet. We could probably get an overtake done on him. Let's go ahead and conserve a little bit, recover some of that fuel. Being light is really helping me out, though. Really helping me out. So we don't want to recover too much right now. But we were light enough to be able to actually make an overtake on Piastri and to drive away from him. And light enough to be able to keep up with the likes of Stroll and the much quicker Aston Martin. Balanced for now. We've recovered a little bit. Bit by bit, lap by lap, we can easily make that up. And like I said, I don't want to recover too much right now. Just set us up for later. Meanwhile, Flourish, I don't want to lift and coast at all, because once she gets lapped, she'll have plenty of time to automatically blue flag style lift and coast periodically. Conserving everywhere but the straight, and even then the recovery is happening quite slow. So we're at 3.3 right now. For now, I just want to get us to 3, and then we'll kind of settle down. Stroll is losing a little bit of ground on those guys ahead, but it's not a significant amount. And like I was saying earlier, at some point here, I want to have a go at trying to overtake him. Even with conserve on, we were having a nibble there at Stroll. Is he... Oh, he is. He's at 55%. This is the time, folks, to try to have a look and get around Stroll. All over the back of him, but not able to get him top up as well. We've got him, we've got him. Maybe. Ah. Damn. I was on conserve and top up and not pushing, and we almost got him organically. Just Stroll into the pits. Back to neutral. Okay, so we made it to 3 kilograms. We've certainly dropped some, and he's starting his undercut process. We're 5.5 seconds ahead of Piastri. So by the time we caught Stroll, we only put 1.5 seconds on Piastri. He was not much faster than Piastri at all. But without him there, we should be quicker now. Florsch, meanwhile, is already a lap down. Sainz and Verstappen have passed her and then some. The Ferraris are up next. Perez pits and comes out behind us. Our position relative to Gasly is holding steady, and Porsche for that matter. And those cars that are pitting early will have the chance to be maybe a little bit faster. Let's see. Who were we racing with just a little bit ago? It was Stroll. He's on mediums, so that's going to make him fast right now. And I'm guessing that his lap time is probably better than ours. 1:14.8, 1:14.7, only by a couple tenths, but yes, he is faster. Meanwhile, we are slightly faster of those ahead of us. Perez is much faster, but he's on brand new tires. 2 seconds a lap faster. We are faster than Gasly. Porsche pits. When is our pit window? Oh, not for a while yet. Do we have cars that are trying to do a 2-stopper today? Opting out of the 1-stopper. I wonder. They're running 112s. I'm running a 116. That is a massive time gap. There are definitely some 2-stoppers going out there. It's got to be. Yeah, Norris is on softs. Verstappen's on softs. Okay, the 1-stopper is not the standard today. Which means if we don't lose significant time, we're in a better place. Florsch has been running some clean air for a while. She's got a gap still to Perez anyway. That's helping her not lose too much time. She'll definitely be faster once she gets on those mediums, but she's still going to be running the hards a while yet. Yes, Piastri on the hards has caught up to us, so that 5.5 second gap is gone. But his tires are pretty well used up. I'm only 21 seconds ahead of Albon, so that's a worry. Ooh, oh, we don't hold off Piastri. He got me there. Another overtake.
Box,
Gone back way too fast.
Yeah, copy, box. In the pit lane.
Copy.
Sergeant heads down pit road. So slow here, so slow. .697. We just cannot get a quick time recently, but we're not making any mistakes, and that's big. Especially with all the races back to back to back through this stretch. Oh, but Albon goes by. That's P18 and behind Albon. 8 seconds. 8 seconds. To the next car. And we had the chance for clean air. A quick stop. A quicker stop. And we might come out just ahead of Albon. If we didn't lose so much time the last 4 laps, we definitely would have come out ahead of Albon. And we lost a good 8 seconds that last 4 laps or so. Just huge losses there. And now we've got our work cut out for us to try to not get held up by Albon. What is his situation? 85% use softs. Okay. We might not have to worry about it. He's going to be faster than we are for a while. He's going to pull away for a while. We're going to have nice clean air for quite a while. What we've got to watch out for now is the fact that we could get lapped here at some point. Leclerc has not pit. He's at the front holding the other guys up, though, so that's helping buy me a little time. Let's go ahead and go standard now. Okay, fuel recovery is going to have to be part of this next phase, but it's going to have to come more late once you have that track position. We need to hope that there is some sort of track position to go our way. 41 of 78. We're already past halfway. Very different strategies out there. We are the first one on hards expected to go the distance.
Open.
Nearly a lap down now for Sargent, though. That's a problem. That's a problem. Those blue flags are going to cost us time. Flourish on pit road for her stop. 2.641. A little bit better, but not much. Of course, she's already in last place, so she's not going anywhere today. Sargent has caught Giovinazzi, so he's all over the back of him. And what is the difference? And the leaders are right behind us. So here comes the blue flags. He's on 48% softs, and we get out of the way. Oh, no, we get out of the way of one, but not both. And he's getting out of the way of one. Staying in clean air is the most important thing to our race right now, and getting held up by slower cars. Giovinazzi peels off into the pits. We're down to 2.5 kilograms below, but that's nowhere near where we need to be with 27 laps to go, and it doesn't gain that fast. So but we are a lap down. So yeah, that takes care of 1.1, doesn't it? We're just 5 seconds behind Albon. So all these guys, Stroll, Show, Albon, we're well ahead of them now, but it's everybody else that looks a problem. Pourchaire is the last one that we have a chance, and he's pitting right now. He's the last one that we have a chance to get some sort of overtake on for. Otherwise, we're looking at P11 or worse, as those behind us have a chance to overtake us. And he comes out just ahead, and he joins just ahead of us. We are side by side. We get the overtake done, though. We get the overtake done. We are ahead of Pourchaire. Wow, we have just squeezed that one out. And that's even with the blue flags that we've had multiple times. That extra pace has just worked out in our favor. But long story short, can we keep any of these guys behind? Right now, that's good enough for P10 once others have pit, because Albon will pit, Stroll will pit. Gasly should come out ahead of us. Wait, did Albon just pass me? No. Oh, we've caught Albon. We have caught Albon. Shoot. Okay, that's a problem, because he has yet to pit. Overtaking him, though, can buy me some space. This lap, we're going to want to try to make that push. Get some clean air. Oh, gosh, there is some traffic ahead of us, led by Magnussen. Stroll. I mean, I've caught these guys, and they have yet to pit. Got myself a little clean air now with Albon held things up for a little bit, but Pourchaire has already made his way around this next lap. We've got to try to make the overtake on Stroll. And then start recovering that fuel and trying to hold guys up. This P10 is looking pretty unlikely at this stage. This is the last overtake we have to even think about today, so we are going to use deploy as well when the time comes. But we're in a strong position this time to be able to make something happen. Deploy. He does not peel off. We get up alongside him just about. Yes, we do. And with the overtakes done. Pourchaire looks to get alongside him this time, but tucks back in. And I am slowly driving away from him with the conserve on. 4 seconds behind Gasly, but in P10, 17 laps to go, so now it's going to be about the fuel Oh man, I just got blue flagged at the worst place for the second time as the Ferrari goes around. That was Leclerc. Jeez. Just awful timing. At least I get the DRS to help close back up and open a tiny gap. But yeah, that brought Porsche right up on me. Kind of eyeball it. 10 laps to go. Sainz pits, finally gives up the lead. Verstappen moves into the lead. Leclerc now second. So that's the second place car ahead of us. Sainz comes out in third ahead of Russell. We are closing in on lapping Florsch another time. Stroll is pitting. Okay, he's off into the pits. Down to 18th. He's at 58%. He's already below his happy zone. As am I, but he's going to have tires that are worse than mine very, very soon. And ultimately, I should be able to hold him off, you would think. 1.3, just 0.2 to go. Recovery-wise, 8 laps. That gap is opening so fast. That blue flag has dropped us out of range of Leclerc. Sainz coming on, putting him under pressure, and I have no DRS, and he has DRS. Suddenly, we're under threat. At this rate, look at that. I think we can get him out of DRS range. I mean, he's over a second behind. He's going to get DRS this time, I would imagine. But if he only closes a little, and he did only close a little, 9/10 behind, well over a second already. There you go. We're driving away. We are driving away from Porsche, folks. 5 seconds ahead of Porsche, so even with the blue flag, we should be okay. But we still have 1/10 to go. So, lighten up. Florsch crosses the line with 1 lap to go. 2.2. Yeah, she's fine. She had 2.4 going on 2.3. There you go. We're at the 1.1. And we've gone behind Russell. 4 seconds ahead of Porsche. Let's just continue to lift and coast all the way to the finish. Just to be sure. 4/10 is all we have left. Verstappen takes the win. Just 6 cars on the lead lap. I was right that the Red Bulls looked like they could lap just about everyone, and they lap all but 5 cars. If you exclude the other Red Bull from the equation, they lap all but 4 cars. Ocon takes 7th, Magnussen 8th, Gasly 9th, and we run a clean, well-run strategy for P10 for a point for Sargent, who in the end, Porsche did drop off, fall away from us. All we had to do was get him wait for his tire wear to get bad, and then watch his pace drop off and drive away from it. We had to make that little push to get him out of the DRS range, and then he really fell off the pace at that point. So that did work according to plan. Florsch did not go according to plan. I should not have started her on the hard compound, because the moment she started getting lapped, blue flags just pushed her further and further and further back, putting her that much further behind, and she ended up a minute 51 behind De Vries. She was never going to be up on pace because her driving pace is just not good, and this is that technical track, which is also a bad track for Sargent, but we managed to get a point. So with 1 more point, that's now 17 for Sargent. Gasly has 16, the other Alpine of Piastri has 10. So overall, they are outscoring us, but I'm ahead of both of them individually. So imagine what would happen if we had 2 drivers scoring similar points. We'd actually be ahead of Alpine, but hey, that's that's not the game we're playing, right? Albon, driving for Alfa Romeo's got 0 and is 19th, just ahead of Florsch. We wanted a challenge. We got a challenge. There wasn't a hard mode when this game came out. There is now. There's another way to make the game hard, but this way is what I prefer. We've taken a weak driver and put him into a decent position to hold our job down, to meanwhile prepare Florsch to be competitive. I'm guessing she's never going to score points or mini points in Monaco, because she's never going to have great pace. at 61 overall. It's not going to get to an 81 ever. We could have the fastest car. She's not going to win a race here. Maybe she'll score points. Maybe we can get her in the top 7 or 8. But I don't know if we're ever going to get her much better than a 70, 75, and it could take a long, long time to get there. She did start at, what, a 56? She's at a 61 now, and it's only been the partial late season plus 1 full season and now a partial second season. So at that rate, we could have her at a 70 in a couple of years. And at that point, we could have a car that is pretty dang competitive. I could see Florsch at a 70 with a competitive car competing. For what? I don't know. Competing for 10th, where we're competing for podiums otherwise with Albon or with Sargent. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. And again, at some point, if he's too good, I've got to get a weaker driver again to back off and not get too high up the grid, because we've got to have something that keeps our job, but allows, something a little more balanced with Florsch. And then let's hope that the F3 Tanaka, I think it was, hope that she gets another seat for next season, because she only has a 1-year contract, gets another seat in F3 for next season so that we can get her into the reserve driver role after 2 years, in a year and a half from now, and help her development. And like I said, by that point, I'm hoping Florsch will start to be competitive. She's not going to be competitive here. Easier tracks to drive, she's a lot closer. Tracks that are more car dependent, she'll do better than tracks that are driver dependent, like Monaco.
Thank you for joining us for the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is familiar to every driver, with F1 and Junior Series often racing and testing here. It's a proving ground for aerodynamics, so many new car parts are brought to Barcelona to see how they can handle the track.
Worrying sight as we don't make Q2 for the first time in quite a while. And I was actually just thinking about how well things are going for us lately. We're 7 races into the season. This is race number 8. And we've made points in 4 of them. So, at the moment anyway, we look like we might actually make it to 12 races of scoring points. This does not look to be one of those races. And I came in with what I thought was a strong, balanced car, but this is one of those ones where your weaknesses can hide a little bit better, because there's areas for your strengths to shine, because it's a balanced track.
The stage is set here in Barcelona as we get ready for 66 laps of the Spanish Grand Prix. A chance to see just what Charles Leclerc can achieve here.
It's a second row start there in P4. The trick will be not to slip backwards, because there are plenty looking to capitalize.
This should certainly be a good one, folks. This is it. It's the Spanish Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away
Alright,
we go.
we are racing from P16 and P20. Means it could be a rough day. We're going to go for a 2-stopper of soft, medium, soft. Multiple cars have crashed. Sargent's up to P15.
And here we've got a yellow flag.
Let's see the crash. I'm going to take this race a lot faster, as I don't expect much from this one today. This happened right in front of us. As long as it doesn't include us, we'll be okay. That was it. Just a slight touch of wheels is it.
Watching on in the garage.
So Florsch, a little bit off the pace there, but Sargent running comfortable in P14.
Okay, I'll
Putting the guys ahead in pressure. This is one of those high tire wear tracks, so the soft, medium, soft 2-stopper. They're both, all 3 stints are one of those, it's barely going to make us. You really don't want to be pushing much at all. We're going light. Let's hope that going light will help us make some overtakes, use DRS to our advantage. Can we get around De Vries? That's the first test on that one. That's the one position I think we definitely should have, is De Vries. Maybe we're only good enough for P13 today. And we do eventually get him,
Contact
maybe.
turn 1.
VSC.
Potential debris on track.
And we're going to have to back off
Crash. There's been a
and tuck in
crash.
behind, even though we were a bit ahead of him there. Uh-oh, is it the Alpha Tauri coming together? It is. Ooh, big crash, too. But our race really isn't with them, except for Florsch.
VSC. Keep
Does it help
delta
with the
positive.
fuel? Okay, lap 9. We overtake Giovinazzi. No, we overtake De Vries. He had the lockup, right? De Vries we were behind. We're up on Piastri now in P13, 2.5 seconds ahead of Giovinazzi. So those 4 are behind us. The AlphaTauris are out. We're ahead of 3 teams. It's a good day even if we don't score points. General outcome. Can we stay up on Piastri? Right now, that's kind of what we're aiming for, is having that extra pace, and it's showing. Between being light and being on the softs. Making up for it here. What are others doing? Mediums or softs. Pretty balanced. Just 12 seconds down on Verstappen, surprisingly. Bottas has gotten around Giovinazzi and driven around him. And we overtake Norris. Going light is definitely adding some pace, and we are making it work for us. Stroll runs wide. We're all the way up to P11. These guys are on mediums, and we are making the softs work for us. And we're going to have better pace once we pit as well, even though we're pitting earlier than them. So this strategy so far is panning out really well, and we're not off the pace right now like one would expect at 41%. P10. Very unexpected. DRS is going to make us a sitting duck here on these softs. Either way, though, we've really progressed forward from back here to, I mean, we've gained 10 plus seconds on this stint. Russell pits, so we're not going to be the first. I mean, De Vries pit, but that's because of the crash. We hold off from McLaren's. They crash out behind us! They crash out right behind us, and we have a VSC, and we are going to pit under the VSC. Squeezed off the track. Didn't tuck in when he should have. The squeeze off the track. He's not legitimately up beside him, so it's whoever was behind. Oh, and they're both out of the race. Florsch is going to be up to P15. We'll pit with both. I would imagine quite a few cars will pit. Sainz does not pit, but Verstappen does. Leclerc pits. Russell has already pit, so he's way down to P13. Ocon and Pourchaire pit. It's like half the cars, or at least those on the softs, are all opting to pit. So we are on a busy pit road right now. Let's hope we can get in and out without hesitation. 2.751 and no hesitation, no time lost. And we're going to return to the track in P10, where we entered. Florsch pits, comes out. P15, still ahead of De Vries. And the fuel is already nearly recovered. We lost less time. And there's 4 cars that did not pit. Sainz pits this lap while we're still under VSC. Oh, most of them are going for the hards and trying to go the distance. We're going to be faster than a lot of cars now, and we have the ability to push on fuel as we are already neutral and have 46 laps to go. But now we've got an interesting strategy on our hand. We've got Perez, Stroll, and Gasly, who all have to pit relatively soon. That's hurt their situation. Gasly was very close to where we were, so that's going to put us in contention with overtaking, well, really all 3 of them, maybe. And then the likes of, Pourchaire and Ocon on the hards. How much faster can we be? How heavy are they all going to be on fuel right now? And are they actually going to bother to use it? Or are they all just going to finish the race? Checking in on lap 30. Florsch, still P15, ahead of De Vries, who is carrying that damage. and was well behind after his pit stop, but we're still ahead of him. And only 13 behind Albin. I mean, that's a relatively competitive race from her so far. Sargent and Perez have now closed within 3 seconds of Pourchaire, but not really closing that gap right now. Piastri and Stroll are both right there behind us, and Gasly, so we still have a big race with pretty much that whole group from 6th to 11th, something we're seeing a lot of lately. Some of those guys are going to be going the distance. We're going to be so much faster in our next stint. We got Perez beyond a second. And we're now just 1.2 behind Pourchaire. VSE! Past pit road. Oh, that's Florsch. That's Florsch. We could make mediums work to the end of the race. If we had another set, which we don't. Damn. Do we want to go to the hards and use the hards till the end of the race? And just push harder? Florsch can totally make that work. Florsch, we are going to do it. No mediums. It would be the same thing. Save the 10 seconds of pitting under these conditions. Coming out in 14th, but on hards that can go the distance and be able to push. Be fresher. We have to take advantage of this safety car.
Now we're just proceeding through turn 4.
That was Pourchaire just ahead of us.
The
Just
car
lost it
makes
on turn 4.
contact. That will have knocked their car.
Russell pits, we pit, Stroll pits. We had a Red Bull pit, I think, or a Ferrari. One of them pit. Albin pits. Yeah, see, those hards are going to definitely make the distance now. These guys all pit here and trying to go the distance. They're going to have issues. They're going to have some real issues. Come out behind Bottas, unfortunately, but then we've got clean air after that, so we're going to have to definitely get an overtake. And then we should be able to drive away from him, which will have us P9 at the time, but with ground to cover to those ahead of us.
VSC endings.
But a lot of these guys, yeah, look at those hards and how used they are already. Okay, so Florsch is a lap down now, and now 22 seconds behind Albin, 15 ahead of De Vries. We're going to give her a chance to drive a little more aggressive as well and see what she can do, but that is a second Red Bull. That's Sainz just behind us, the second place car. So we'll see how long she can kind of stay ahead of him. There's definitely a gap out there, though.
You can take him back.
With, not too many cars in that gap, but this is now going to be about Sargent and what we can do today, which is clearly score some points, but how many? Is it just going to be 2? I mean, no doubt about it. We've got Bottas. We're going to get him right here. Or not. Really? Like, you could see how we're lifting. Lifted 3 times down that straight. Going, no. I don't like to overtake. I really don't. I'm not interested. I'd rather stay behind you right now than make the super, super easy overtake and drive many car lengths away from you before we ever get to the braking zone. Ocon pits.
So
Battery empty. When did we even use any of it? It was full. Literally full. Here we go again. You can hear the revs lifting.
So we charge the pack.
Not until it's actually on do we want to deploy. There you go. It's on. And DRS. We were behind at the zone, so overtake is done. We're ahead of Bottas. That's P9 now. Under 20 laps to go, and we're on hards that are in much better shape, and other guys are pitting. Leclerc, Ocon both pitting. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. Leclerc comes out ahead of us, and Ocon comes out ahead of us. Seriously? That was unexpected. But Perez should come out well behind us. Gasly should come out behind us. So we could be up to P6. Or get passed by Stroll, who was 3 seconds back. What the heck? So we'll have to piggyback with him. I think we can get him in the end. for P8, and it looks like there's 2 more drivers ahead of us that aren't going to make 15 laps. That VSC move was the right move. It was perfect. We're going to see. We're going to get him anyway. We'll yo-yo back and forth for a while, but let's check in on Florsch. What's her gap? She's only 4 seconds behind Gio now. DeVries is also only 9 seconds back, though, so we are coming up on Perez very quick, who still has not pit. It has to. We've got Perez beat for sure. That's P7. Look how slow he is. Gasly's the other one to keep an eye on. What's Gasly? We're only 7 seconds behind Gasly, so yeah, we've got them both. We've got them both dead to rights. When they pit, there goes Perez. Now it's just that matter of Stroll. Gasly pits, we're up to P7. And that's with Stroll still ahead of us. Big gap behind. Mere seconds ahead, but I don't think we're in position to really be catching any of those guys. 58% mediums. He's going to lose pace. So is Leclerc. He's 58% softs. Both of them are going to be falling off the pace, and we're going to get closer. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, are we really in actual competition for these higher placings today? Nice full battery will help us out. We can charge on the fuel here at some point. If we get the overtake done, maybe we just go drive on. 0.5. Too many DRS zones here, though. Really hard to get away. 0.6. But we're doing something that he hasn't been able to do. We do pull away a little bit. But then that straight's so long, he just comes right back up on us. DRS is very, very powerful here. But now just 1.8 behind Ocon. That's how you hold them off. Stay ahead, and then get to Ocon, and then use the DRS to overtake Ocon. And get to P5. We're less than a second behind Ocon. And we're more than a second ahead of Stroll. Let's go. Close them down, close them down, close them down. Overtake's not on yet, but that gets a healthier gap to Stroll. That gets us in the running for our first ever top 5 finish, potentially. We are on lap 62. Lap 63 just started. We're already challenging. We're already getting up on the inside because his mediums are just not hanging in there. And I'm going to have DRS right here, and we get the overtake done. It's P5. 7.5 seconds, though, to Leclerc. So Leclerc looks like it might be a little too far away. Ocon, 3.5 tenths. Will he get right back on us in this zone? He's close, he's close, he's close. But no, we hold him off, and now we should be able to pull away a little bit before that next DRS zone and have a bigger gap than what we had this time, and then just keep right on pushing to stay away. We're not staying away right now. He's 3 tenths behind. Verstappen and Sainz are well behind us. We're not in any danger of going a lap down. Florsch is not in any danger of going a further lap down. She's already a lap down, so it's okay that she's on that negative 1.5 seconds ahead of DeVries. The race is on. Race is on, folks. We're holding off Ocon so far. I can't go negative. DeVries has overtaken Florsch. Damn. Perez with a spin. Perez with a spin. But he was behind me already. He was behind me already, so it's still P5. Florsch has caught back up to DeVries. She's challenging him. She's going to finish her lap first. We've pulled away from Ocon a little bit, too. Florsch up the inside. Is ahead of DeVries at the moment. Some sparks fly. That's the Ferrari ahead of us, and we can't overtake the freaking Ferrari, so just go, go, go. They're still side by side. They are still side by side. She's ahead now. Florsch is ahead. Final corner. Final corner. Florsch has beaten DeVries. Okay, meanwhile with Sargent, 1.6 ahead. We've done it. We have done it. What a race. Florsch has beaten a car on merit for just the second time. Though DeVries did have a spin, I believe. No damage. So, He just ended up pitting early, put him on an alternate strategy, but the strategy today has paid off. P5, our best finish yet. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm the Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.